on it, like multi-skilled, you know, from one place to the other. On it, back to the rice, back to the chicken. You make your food look nice, it will always taste better. So, dishwasher's out a minute, so we're back soon. Do the dishes. Sweet in there. What are you saying, bruv? What are you saying? Just call me Master Chef. Look at this. Get the chicken now. Look at this. Nando's. Eat your heart out, mate. Eat your heart out. This is the one I'm going to consume right now. Oh. Getting it done. We haven't really done the intro yet, have we? So we'll do the intro in the car. Yeah. For now, got a power hour, get some work done, and then we'll meet an AJ at Starbucks at 2:30. Eat the pre-workout meals. Eat the pre-workout meals. Get shit done. So I'm gonna have half my coffee now. Half my coffee now. And then I'm going to have a prepare before I train today. I've not had a prepare in a while, so when I've not had it for a while, it gives me the kick that I need. So expect some fireworks. It's coming. It has been 11 weeks since we kind of took back off. So for the next 3 sessions, I want you to hit your compound movements at repetitions range 8 to 12, and then isolation work 12 to 15, just one working set. Meeting with one of our very important people. Hello.
Hi.
Have you brought a fan?
Right up here.
If not, can you go? Oh,
Serious business.
Serious business.
Proper serious business.
Yeah.
Staff contract.
See, you've got to be official employed.
Yeah, I know.
Have you brought a fan with you?
No.
Should have.
Very warm.
So, it's about time to kick things off. Got a pull session going down. RDL's in the game today, so we're going to get after it, guys. We're going to get after it. Already had a quite busy day, so just had to wrap some things up for the gym before I train. So that's all done now, so we're ready to go. Time to get it. Time to get it. Start the session with glutes. So I always had one working set for my glutes on the pull sessions as well. So definitely need a little bit of a firmie bum. Count it, can't count. Do your warm-up sets. Make them motherfuckers light. Come on, man.
Big one, look in.
Let's go! Super tidy, low back, good. Tempo on that, perfect. Yeah, yeah, very good. So good, man. Proper.
I can't lock my upper back anymore. No matter what I do, I can't keep my fucking upper back tight at all. It just, every time the weights just bring me over, it's like I've got nothing there to help me out.
guys are going to have to count. So, as you probably notice, especially on the compound movements, we're going to take around 5 minutes rest between sets. And I really think when you're training the way we do, and you want to make the most out of each set, and to get the maximum intensity, you need that rest between sets. End of the day, objective is to complete the heaviest weight possible with the safest and the best form possible. And to do that, I believe you need to be fresh, and you want the actual muscle to fail, not your lung capacity. So get fresh and attack your set with everything you've got. The sequence for today's session was barbell RDL to start with. Again, one of the best movements you can do for your whole posterior chain. It covers all bases, your back, lats, hamstring and glute. So it's one of my favourite exercises, to be honest. If you are good at RDLs, your whole posterior chain will just look completely different. It always shows on stage who does the heavy hip hinge movements and who doesn't. So we intend to stay on it and continue getting as strong as we can with the hip hinge movements all the way throughout prep. So it's game time. Today we're following on with single arm dumbbell row. Just pay attention to the position that we are in. The best way of explaining this without going into intricate details for all of you to understand, basically we are leading with the right arm. So if you are pulling with the right arm, you place your body weight on your right leg, bring your hips up, and that way you will work your lat in isolation. If you put your body weight on the left leg, when you are pulling with the right arm, you create counter force, which means that your body's kind of creating counter force from the left side, which means it's more, you're working more on the function of your lat. You're not really working in isolation, which again, you will not get as much benefit out of doing so, as your lat will just not get the same kind of tension as you were working in isolation. So if you want to build muscle, work in isolation. If you want to be functional, do it the other way.
Yeah, I was on one marine for nothing. Down one. No, this.
Let's see it again.
force reps first. Training partners there. We said
No force reps. No force
they'll
reps.
say that and then they'll take a force on this to beat me.
What it's like.
2 force reps. No force reps. How many?
Abdominal You might be. Come on. Good. Yeah. Come on, big 2. No crunching, one more, let's go. Exactly the same set.
I beat him though.
Beat you.
Perfect, come on. Come on. Oh! Come on. Come on.
What is it?
Touch now. So, this particular piece we're trying to target the lat. Just pay attention to the elbow path. We're not really thinking about anything apart from dragging his elbows down and driving them down into the pocket of his hip. So the elbows never really go past the torso. We're always locking here. So as you watch AJ just then, he'll just starts here with his torso nice and straight, no torso movement whatsoever. Then all we do there is from this position, drag the elbows down, keeping the elbows in, driving them down into the hip. So, today's sequence is pretty much after the pull down, which I've already explained. We hit a prime row. The way we can manipulate strength curves, strength profile of that particular machine is we can make it heavier in the lengthen range, which means that obviously we can fully challenge the lat after doing the heavyweight that we already did and still be able to get the most out of that movement. Because again, when we think about it, our lat will be very fatigued now in the shortened range after we've done the heavy gritty stuff. But in the lengthened range, where your lat is stronger anyways, there will still be a lot of energy and a lot of power left there. So in that sequence, it allows us to really take it there and completely finish us back off from that movement. Following on from that, I hit an assisted pull-up, which again, with a bit of assistance allows me to really tickle the lat off. But in that particular movement, I focused on really getting a nice deep stretch every single rep. If any of you follow Dante Trudeau, he's one of my Jordan heroes, and when it comes to getting big, he's the man. And he's actually come up with quite a few interesting studies about challenging the muscle in the fully lengthened position. So really taking advantage of a weighted stretch, which is exactly what I did on the pull down. And after that, we followed on with reverse pec deck, manipulated the strength curve, straight profile of the machine, so that it was heavier in the shortened range. And again, for me, with Maria Delt work, I'd much prefer working in that range. When we contract, we can really catch it, and it feels immense. So we did that, and then some trap work, dumbbell shrugs, you know, because Ronnie Coleman. That's the only reason why I did them. I'm only joking. Quite like dumbbell shrugs. If I hold a nice contraction at the top, it can feel good. And again, traps can never be big enough. So it's bicep time. One thing I wanted to pay attention to is our energy does not really decrease, and intensity doesn't drop off throughout the session. I find that many people can't really sustain performance for this long. We have trained ourselves now to be able to go through a longer session and still keep the intensity all the way through. This is why we can still continue getting bigger arms on a push-pull leg setup, because we can still take it there. Even at the end of the session, I feel like a lot of people lose focus and lose the intensity when it comes to arms. We don't. This is why I've got big arms. So, the way you want to set this exercise up is, you want to set the cable in line with your arm. So the line of pull is directly forward here. Right, so see the line now with the cable is directly here, so the tension is directly here. So now let's go. Contract, boom. So now we're challenging the bicep in fully shortened range here. And Jamie contracts hard. So see his arm stays level now because it can, as the line of pull is perfectly straight here. So whenever you set up the high cable curl, this is the setup you want to do. You want to make sure that the cable is all in line with your arm, perfectly there, and the arm stays straight. And again here, you want to be thinking about flexing your bicep as hard as you can. So in hindsight, your thought process has to be flex the bicep using the handle. That is it. With training, it's all about contraction, so it's all about making sure that you put in the maximum tension for the muscle. In order to do that, you have to almost flex the muscle while you're training. So, and that is obviously a general thought process when it comes to training arms. They are a very small body part. Again, I wouldn't really tell someone to flex the chest while they're pressing. But again, you still have to get a nice contraction, but with arms specifically, the thought process has to be flex your bicep or flex your tricep while you're in the movement. So, we are pretty religious with stretching our chest and shoulders and lats off, so if you've seen my previous videos, you know what's about to happen next. Give me a minute, so these just want some love. Now I've come home. There we go. Calm down then. Good boy. So, a very good session ticked off. I tend to be not as vocal lately, especially in the sessions, as right now I definitely feel like we've got in a nice groove and the sessions are pretty intense, so we want to kind of stay in there. And I feel like sometimes if I have to kind of talk on the camera quite a lot, I feel like it can cost you a little bit of focus. So I do apologise if I'm not quite as vocal. But again, with this series, I want to touch on obviously the mistakes I made in the past, and today we'll cover training aspect. So I feel like every beginner definitely needs to follow certain rules when you do get into training. I feel like whenever you are going to the gym, training instinctively with no intent and no real plan will never yield the same kind of results as it will knowing what you are going to the gym for and what you are going to do. You have to have the game plan in hand first. So I definitely feel like everyone starting off should always follow a structured plan when it comes to training. And again, when it comes to execution, that is one important thing. You're not just moving the way from A to B. Everything you do has to have a certain intent, and the intent is to create as much tension on the muscle as possible. And this means that you have to use the right tempos, you have to stay on the right path when it comes to execution. You cannot get away with just moving the way from A to B unless you are genetically elite. Don't get me wrong, it does work for certain people, but 90% of the public, unfortunately, it's not going to work for you. So you have to be a lot more calculated what you do and how you do it. And this is exactly why we do things this way. Like, we are not the genetic elite, and I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to me because I am not one of the guys that's the 1% that will just respond to any type of training. If I really want to take it to the next level, I have to be calculated in what I do, and I have to really pay attention to every single detail when it comes to training and nutrition and recovery. But again, I won't change it for the world. That this is why I love it. I think it's the challenge, obviously knowing that I can be better and pushing forward. But again, going back in with the mistakes I made early on, I used to train 6 days a week, and I used to train every single body part twice a week, and I used to have one day off on a Sunday, and I used to spend pretty much 2.5 hours in the gym every single day, just doing every exercise, every set. And don't get me wrong, it worked for a short while. I progressed, yes, but I know that I definitely limited my progress as I never took deloads. I always trained, and I always thought more is better, and that couldn't be any further away from the truth. If you want, sometimes less is more, and in most cases with bodybuilding, when you learn the right execution intensity, less is actually more. So it's not about what you can do, it's about how you do it and how much precision you can put into the set and how much intensity you can bring to the set. And I definitely feel like if I knew what I know now in terms of training execution, don't get me wrong, I'm still not I wouldn't consider myself elite as the people that I learn from, but again, if I knew what I know now, I would be a lot further ahead than I am right now at my age. So I definitely feel like from the age of 16 when I really started bodybuilding seriously to the age of probably 22, I definitely spent a lot of my time wasted just doing unnecessary things, overtraining, and not really having a real set plan in place. So I definitely feel like it's cost me a lot of time and effort. And again, bodybuilding isn't an easy sport. It's not easy, it's far from it. It's probably one of the hardest sports you can pick. So you have to be smart. Everything you do has to kind of give enough back for you to be able to warrant the amount of sacrifice, effort you have to put in each day. And I definitely feel like if my training was so calculated as it is now, and I knew the right execution, and I took my time and paid attention to my recovery, I would have been light years ahead. So it's just little things that you don't really think of, such as taking regular deloads when it's needed and seeing the signs of deloads that you always push past back in the day. And I always struggled with always doing more and more, and I still really struggle with it mentally now, as I've always been used to really being a workhorse and just doing whatever it takes in the gym, and always been one of them that doesn't mind the hard work. But again, the hard work has to be smart. It's a combination of both. It's not just a case of going in the gym and just moving the weight from A to B and just seeing how much you can do in one session to completely bury yourself. It's not. It's all about stimulating the muscle, not actually annihilating it. So you have to be very calculated. So my advice for today with training for any of you guys starting off, make sure that you do your research, put the right plans in place, and always follow a structured plan. Always add in regular deloads, and do not train 6 days a week if you want to get anywhere. Always take regular rest. For me personally, I definitely feel like 4 to 5 times a week, obviously depending on what your split is and how you structure your training, is more than enough. And I definitely feel like especially beginners will get a lot out of it. The very beginners that you're starting off, I would favour an upper lower split for those. And the way I would work that is 2 days on, 1 day off, for sure. And I think that would be ideal with a lower volume approach as well. As again, if you learn the right execution, which I believe everyone should from the get-go, whether it's through employing a PT or signing up for a course, there's many courses out there online you can do. There's many coaches you can employ as well to help with that. But I definitely feel like everyone should fast track themselves, as it will cost you a lot of money and time in the future when you actually could really within the first 6 months really make dramatic progress that will push things on a lot more. So I definitely think everyone should kind of follow that principle. And for me, I think the biggest thing and the biggest turning point for my own personal progression has been learning execution in and out. I can't stress how important that is, and even now I'm still kind of working on that, still getting better. And I feel like the more connection you have with the muscle, the more tension it can apply there, and the more you will get out of each set. So I definitely feel like today what I want to touch on is obviously learning execution, going in gym with a plan and executing that, no less, no more. You have to know what your intent is each and every time you step in the gym. Do not go in the gym just thinking, right, I'll do this, I'll do that, kind of taking the instinctive approach. You can take that once you are extremely experienced. The guys that have been in the trenches 15-20 years, they know exactly what they need without having a set plan in place. They will go in the gym and they can go off the field because they will learn all the biofeedback the body gives them in and out. And I don't feel like anyone with anything under 10 years of experience in the gym will know that, will know how it feels. I know personally myself, I've been training obviously seriously since the age of 11 and then bodybuilding since the age of 16. So I know myself that only the last 3 years, 2 to 3 years, I have really started tapping into seeing the little signs that my body gives me and seeing the signs that I can see my clients in the right approaches, and obviously tweaking little things here and there. So I definitely feel like unless you have that experience, you will not be able to notice the feedback that your body gives you. So you always need to kind of stick to the plan and not go in instinctively. So guys, I hope this helps, and I hope this gives you a bit of a light in what you need to do to really take things forward and not make the same mistake as I did, that has cost me years and years of hard work and progress that could have been light years ahead right now. So don't make the same mistake I did with training. Do not go in without a plan. Do not train instinctively unless you have all the years under your belt. Hire someone that knows what they're doing if you can afford it. If not, there's tons of educational content you can see and tons of people you can follow on Instagram and pick up the cues from there. I definitely feel like it's not necessary to get a coach. However, there are many things out there online that are cheap enough for you guys to invest in, to be able to learn everything you need to fast track your own progress and not make the same mistake I did when it came to training. The next time we talk about this, we'll talk about the dietary mistakes and what I did wrong, and the shape I got myself in through that. So keep your eyes peeled, guys. We'll cover that in the next video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys, and if there's anything else you want to see, please hit me up. And again, I do apologise if I haven't been as vocal with the training session, but again, I always say this is the real shit. Like, we don't make this stuff up. This is how we roll. So take it or leave it. Yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you again soon.